Hey everybody. Now, I'm here to talk about hardcore justice that occurred tonight, or should I say about a few hours ago, this past Sunday evening, because it's about 15 minutes after midnight. But I'd like to talk about hardcore justice. Now, I know some people have their own opinions about hardcore justice. Now, I didn't see the pay-per-view, but I will download it. But I know a lot of people have had the differences about this pay-per-view happening. I know a lot of people, reporters, critics, and everybody have been talking about how WWE could probably file a lawsuit against TNA if they went through with it. And I don't know if that's going to happen or not. But apparently what some people were probably predicting and hoping for, a cease and desist, did not happen. The show did go on. Now again, it's not a review, but I'm here on a review because I've not yet seen the pay-per-view. But I will say this. I can respect the fact that people have difference of opinions. Some people feel as though the pay-per-view, after they saw it, wasn't really worth the hype, and some feel as though it was okay. And there's also some that feel as though, hey, this was the best reunion show of ECW or any hardcore remnants of ECW that they've ever seen. And I think I can understand where some fans are coming from. When on one side, I can understand the fans that didn't like the pay-per-view, that watched it hoping it was going to be good but didn't like it, or watched it to see if maybe it was not going to happen and maybe thinking that cease and desist was going to take place. I can probably tell you why. Because you see, TNA has sort of done an ECW situation back in its first 2 years. If you remember, back in around 2003 and 2004, there was a time in the company where they did what was known as TNA Extreme. Basically, they had extreme matches that you've never seen anywhere else, or you'd probably never see again. So that's why I think some fans didn't want this to happen, or didn't think this pay-per-view was going to be good, even if they did see it or not. Because to them, all TNA was doing was going back to what they had done back in about 7 years ago. Now, and I can also understand they felt that some of them feel as though some of these guys are not worth their time being in the ring, that some of them shouldn't even gone in a part of this, and some are not even in the prime anymore, and some should just walk away. Well, I think I can but the thing is, I understand that. I understand that a lot of these guys have, they put their bodies through hell in the original ECW. They tried to continue that legacy with promotions like XPW and CZW, and by putting their bodies through hell and all that. But what you have to understand is that these men and women basically wanted to do something that others before them had done. And that's go out in a way fans remember them by. Let me put it to you like this. Back in the 90s, I think the late 90s, early 2000s, there was a pay-per-view, a one-night pay-per-view called Heroes of Wrestling. And it allowed some legends that wanted to be part of it, to go out in a way that they wanted to go out. I mean, we're talking about guys like Stan Lane, we're talking about guys like Tully Blanchard, George the Animal Steel, Jake the Snake, Jim the Anvil Neidhart, and the list goes on. Basically, these are groups of guys that wanted to go out the way fans remembered them. And that's what they did. I mean, Yokozuna was a part of this. So again, this is what they wanted to do. They wanted to go out in a way fans would remember them by. And that's what these guys wanted to do. The ECW EV 2.0 guys and girls wanted to do. They wanted to go out in a way fans would remember them by. You see, a lot of people, and now I know a lot of people would say, well, they had their chance to go out the way fans could remember them by. They had their chance with the 2 one-night stands. They had their chance with the hardcore homecomings. Well, let me explain something about that. The one-night stand in 2005, that would have been great and all. That would have been like a great way of saying thank you ECW. we'll always remember you for everything you've done. But then they brought it back, and they thought, okay, we'll give them one more send-off, but at the same time, we're also going to reignite it. You see, basically what Tommy Dreamer wanted to do is he wanted to work with a promotion. He wanted to work with a promotion that said, okay, we'll let you book the show the way you want to book it. We'll let you bring in guys that you've been wanting to bring in, and we'll see what happens. Basically what Tommy Dreamer and some of these other guys and girls wanted was an ECW reunion and a final farewell, if you will, the way it was meant to be. I mean, there's a guy here on YouTube that that has the RF video disc, RF video DVDs of the final ECW shows, and these shows weren't even seen on television, so that would explain why the fans want to go out like this. I mean, why ECW wants to go out like this. They want to go out in a way fans would remember them by, in front of the world. I mean, if they had known that Guilty as Charged back in 2001 was going to be the last pay-per-view, was going to be possibly the last pay-per-view ever, they would have gone out then. But they didn't know that. They didn't know that, so that's why they wanted to do this show. That's why they wanted to do it. Now, as far as fans that did like it, but didn't look at it as one of the best reunion shows, I can respect their opinion because they understand that this is what the ECW guys and girls, men and women, want to do. They wanted to go out in a way that they've been wanting to go out. I mean, when WWE did One Night Stand, and then they did One Night Stand in 2005, did they do it where it was just ECW? No. They had to bring in the WWE. They brought in the SmackDown guys. They brought in the Raw guys. And did they let them have peace? No. Did they let them have the reunion? No. Instead, it was all about WWE getting over. And I think that's what pissed a lot of people off. So, fans were able to get what they wanted tonight. And that's how these fans look at it. That this was the way Tommy Dreamer and all these other men and women of ECW really wanted to go out. They wanted to go out with a final farewell, with a reunion show, a thank you show that brought everybody back, even those that were not even considered for being invited to the 2005-2006 reunions. And for those that looked at it as one of the best, if not the best reunion shows and final farewells, it's the same thing. They understand that this is the way these guys wanted to go out. I mean, think about it this way. Think about it this way. Go back to your years in high school. Go back to your high school years. Do you think you want to go out as a senior where you just get your diploma, there's no ceremony, there's no senior projects, nothing like that? You don't have a way of going out with a bang or leaving a lasting impression? Do you think you just want to get your diploma in your regular street clothes and say, okay, bye-bye? No, you don't want to do that. It's embarrassing. Look, I've done that before. When I moved the first time from California to Kansas, all I got was my diploma from Bret Hart Jr. High School in Hayward, California, instead of being part of the ceremony. But I made up for that when I graduated from Oskaloosa High School because I was able to go out the way I wanted to go out. And that's the same way with these guys. And again, the fans that look at it as not the best pay-per-view they've seen, but understand that this is the way they want to go out, and those that look at it as the best they've ever seen, both of them understand that this is where both of them understand that if they put themselves in the shoes of these men and women of ECW, that this would be the way they wanted to go out. I mean, do you not think Tommy Dreamer would have wanted to wrestle Raven at One Night Stand? Don't you think the ECW fans wanted to see New Jack and Mustafa? Do you think they didn't want to see that? They wanted all that, but they never got it. They never got ECW the way they wanted to get it. But now they did. So, again, that's just my opinion on the difference of opinions. I should say those are just my thoughts on the difference of opinions between fans that didn't like it but did see it and thought it wasn't good, from those that did see it, didn't think it was the best but enjoyed it, and those that thought it was the best. So hopefully you can understand where I'm coming from, and I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.